off the cuff. Everything we say brought to you live. Roman, Will, and Zay off the cuff. Walking by faith brought to you live. Roman, Will, and Zay off the cuff.
Yeah, I see y'all.
Everything we say brought to you live. Roman, Will, and Zay off the cuff.
And the truth of the
We
matter
walking
is,
by faith brought to you live. Roman, Will, and Zay off the cuff.
Isaiah trying to have us on here all night.
We can't glaze over that though. We can. Oh my goodness.
What's going on, good people? What's going on? We back again. We back again, man. How y'all doing? What's the deal? What's the deal, y'all? Listen, man. It's Isaiah, also known the fellas. They call me Zaya. What's the deal? What's the deal?
Will Parker Jr. is in the house.
And you know Pastor Roman D rolling with the fellas, and your boys are
Off the cuff. What's the deal, fellas? What's going on, man?
What's the deal, people?
Whew.
How y'all be? How y'all be?
Good.
to see y'all. Good to see y'all.
Man,
Yeah.
you too, you guys, man. I'm telling you, man, it's incredible. Awesome, man. Listen, how is everybody doing out there in Roku or wherever you watching us? How you doing? How you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, we got an interesting show we want to talk about tonight, man. This is going to be a really good one, man, because our first one, we ran into some problems, man. We're completely we couldn't get it recorded or anything, but, man, there's a reason for everything, and so I'm grateful for it because we get an opportunity to revisit, a lot of the stuff that we was talking about. But the actual conversation we want to go over tonight, talk about tonight is going to be called, this show is for today is going to be the father factor. It's going to be called the father factor, man. Like what is a father? What, like the influence of a father, you know what I'm saying? The strength of the father, you know what I mean? So, Will, what you think about that, bro? What you got for us, man?
Well, bro, normally I come with these definitions, but since we when we recorded this last time and it didn't record, I'm passing it to Roman D because I'm in my feelings about it. Roman D, give me a definition, man. Give me a definition. I'll talk after Isaiah.
Hey, we're gonna go with Urban Dictionary because Urban Dictionary give us the pulse of the culture. What the culture feel about a father? We got 3 definitions. We're gonna start with the good one first. We're gonna give you how many likes each of them got. The first one is a father is a man who begets and helps to raise his children. He strives to keep them safe and healthy. He works to feed and clothe them and to send them to trade school or college. He gives them every opportunity to grow in experience and wisdom. He teaches them how to camp, how to shoot, and how to fix cars. So that's our first one, 464 likes. This one got 453 likes. The bastard that brought your poor life into this world. Hey, that's what Urban Dictionary said. That got 453 likes. Now, here's our last one. This got 1,175 likes.
Wow.
It says the guy who criticizes everything you ever do. Never admits he's wrong in front of you. The guy who got with you and your mom to bring you onto the earth, the human bank machine, the only straight guy who ever cares for you but never admits it.
Wow.
175 likes. Hey, what you got?
Wow.
Hey, the reason that one got a lot of likes is because they said the human bank machine. Hey, that's crazy. But no, that's not the chain. But no, I think that's big, man. I hear a lot of people say, like, man, how there's no, books that's written on how to be a father and how to, how to be able to, to really, know how to be able to father your children. I think it's really, that definition is awesome. All those definitions are awesome, but it's particular for each person, each family. And I think that, like, for me, when I think of a father, I honestly think that a father is one who gives birth to something, man. It could be a father of lies. It could be a father of truth. It could be a father of influence. It could be a father of a lot of things, but it's one who lives his life consistently every day. And that is a father, because you could be a father that's not there, a father that, you know what I'm saying? So I think that, you know, it really deals when I hear the word father, you know, I think that, you know, it could be a multiple different ways we can pull from. But, you know, I kind of like want to highlight the fathers that, you know, are there, you know what I'm saying? And those that, you know, just, you know, personally, you know what I mean, right now in this moment, those that are there that are, you know, really, really, you know, helping to raise their children. You know, there's really no definition that could, you know, ultimately describe who you are as a father, because you're someone who has, you know, been through different situations and you've learned so much from different people. And that's what makes you ultimately a father. I think one who is there is consistent, you know, raising his kids and knowing how to be able to deal with different tough situations, how to be able to exercise your anger is a definition of, I think, you know, in my dictionary would be, you know, something like a father, you know what I'm saying? Because there's so many different things, but, you know, we could get deep into it. And fellas, I just want to hear, you know, what y'all think on it, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, like, I know for me, man, like a father has to be someone who is, you know, honest and true, you know what I'm saying? To help his son, raise him in such a way so that he could like pass that same vibe to, you know, his children and so on and so on. So Will, bro, what you thinking, bro? What you thinking?
Well, thank you for that, Zaya, man, and thank you, Pastor Roman D, man. Those definitions was on point.
They was,
and the reason I say they all was on point is because the father is viewed from many different perspectives, and I think you said this there is personal. Mm-hmm. So I think each definition that Pastor Roman D gave relates to those particular individuals.
Yeah.
Me myself, I have a father. My father raised me. Okay, I grew up in the house with a mom and a dad. Then, you know, when my mother and dad got divorced, I stayed with my dad, and my dad, he completed and he finished raising me. Now, I think you got to look at this as a couple different ways. So my father is my daddy. Okay. So that changed the game right there. I don't never call him my father. He's my daddy. That daddy is a term of endearment. That daddy is a term of personal relationship. That daddy is a term of somebody that raised me to be the man I am today. So even though I know the world gets on this Happy Father's Day, it's Happy Daddy Day to me.
Come on,
because I had a dad in my life, and for the fellas that didn't have a dad in their life, it's gonna be it's a total different perspective that I'm pretty sure Pastor Roman D would jump into. Yeah. But I had a daddy at home guiding me, teaching me, directing me. He showed me how to be a man. He showed me how to be a husband. He showed me how to love God. He showed me how to work. He showed me all these different things, and I got to view it personally.
That's good.
So again, I think those definitions are on point, because I think it relates to each individual group, depending on, you know, how that man was in your life.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Hey, that's good right there. I totally agree, because it is a person. Think about when you talk about the father factor, you have to understand that whether positive or negatively, you've made a major impact in your children's lives, whether that's positive or negative. And so it shows the importance of the father. It shows how the father, them being there can impact. It shows how them not being there can impact. And when we say not being there, it's not necessarily physically, because there are some fathers who are there, but who are not there.
That's good.
Who are not there emotionally. And through those definitions, what we see is a wide range. But the thing we can't argue is the people who liked. We got, from the negative perspective, we got over 1,500 people who liked the negative perspective, while we only have 463 from this total here that had a positive experience with their biological father.
That's good.
And I'm glad, Will, you broke it down. There's a difference between a father and a dad, because when you have not just a father, but that same man is your dad, there's a bond, there's a connection, there's a model, there's an example. And we want to speak to the men on today who are in their children's life, but also men who are not in their children's life, to let you know that it's never too late.
Yeah.
You play a significant role, and I'm gonna keep it 100. Let's talk to those fathers who haven't been there, and you're afraid to go back because you understand that there's going to be work. There's going to be, and there may even be some rejection. There may be even some pushing away, but you have to be willing to take the rejection, to take the hard conversations, and literally show them that you love them enough to be able to take the rejection, to be able to take the honest dialogue. You hurt me when you left, or when you wasn't there. It made me feel some type of way. And so, and I know we're going to dive even more into the show, but fathers, you need to understand you play a major role whether you're there or not.
That's true.
And so it's important for us to really take time and understand the role and the importance that we play as fathers and dads in our children and our families' lives.
That's good. That's good, man. I agree. I totally agree. I think I kind of like want to go ahead and begin to add a little bit as well to what you fellas were saying as well too. I think that the most important thing to remember is that there's gonna be so many different situations, man, where things are different concerning the father. Because I know that there's been times where I've examined myself as a father, and I've been like, I'm not doing it like this person. But, I always like to go back to the place of what are you doing though? You have to examine, personally, yourself, and begin to see what I mean? Well, I am doing these things. I am contributing these things to my son, because we can beat ourselves up the world can beat ourselves up. We look on TV, we look at movies, and we like, man, I'm just not good enough. I'm not measuring. But you know what I'm saying? You are giving something. You are doing something that is important and that's beneficial. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's, calling your child, or whether it's, spending time with them. It might not be every 7 days a week, but I always like to think of this too. Those moments where a child can look back in their life and they see that moment that you spent with them, whether it was one time, it's going to mean the world to them. That's going to be the greatest moment ever. They're not going to probably remember everything, but they're going to remember that one time. And so I always say this, it's not how much. I think Pastor Roman D, you said that too, bro. On another one of our, it's not the quantity, it's the quality. You know what I'm saying? You can give everything, but the quality of what you give is important. You know what I'm saying? That's what's important. You know what I'm saying? So I think and there was something else you said, Will, that was so dope. You was talking about, your dad being in your life and how the differences between a father and a daddy, that is so big. I think a dad to me as well is you said it clear, it's more an intimate relationship. It's like a bond that's unbreakable. You know what I'm saying? It's him and he knows you. You know his weaknesses and he knows yours. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. So I think a father, is one who gives birth to, you know what I'm saying? But a daddy, is someone who is there. He stands up. He's consistent. He's honest, he's true, he's in his child's life, he does what he can, you know what I'm saying? He's working, to constantly build a relationship with his child, even when they work his nerves, you know what I'm saying? But he's still daddy, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I believe children run to, daddy, more so than just dictator or ruler, you know what I'm saying? They run to daddy. And so I think this conversation is so heavy. And before I pass the rock, I want to speak to, and maybe we should save this for after the break, but, to talk about, fathers that wasn't, in children's lives and how it impacted them, severely, you know what I'm saying, whether it's through prison, wrong choices or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, maybe we should say that for after the break, but I want to kind of put a pin there so we don't forget that. But yeah, Will, what you got, bro, man? Cause this is getting heavy now, bro.
Yeah. Give me something, Zay Beats. Give me something.
Hey, most definitely. It's getting heavy. Hey, I'm feeling it, man. This conversation's getting heavy, man. Hey, the spirit's here.
hey, while you was talking, I was thinking about something Roman D said, Pastor Roman D said, and then I was thinking about something you were saying. And at the same time, in my mind, I'm thinking about my own dad again. But at the same time, I'm thinking about the women, because one of the definitions Pastor Roman D read off it talked about how people view the father as not wanting to admit when they're wrong.
Wow.
And, you know, they didn't want to admit when they're wrong. They had a problem when speaking up with it. It's almost like they're always right.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about that when both of you brothers was talking, because I'm thinking about the power that the father has with his words. You know,
that's deep. That's deep.
And that's really what that break boils down to, is the power most people don't even understand. And a lot of fathers don't even understand the power you have with your words.
Yeah.
See, if you always say you right, your kids gonna think you always right. At least they gonna think you right.
Yeah.
And that's because you're saying it all the time. I remember, man, I know my dad don't remember this, but man, I remember one night I was picking him up from my mom's house now, my stepmom's, which I don't call her step because ain't nothing step about her, but I was picking her up when they was dating. Right. I had the car. I picked him up one night. It was late. It was like 11:30, 12 o'clock. He said, "Hey, just pick me up when you finish doing what you was doing." So I'm riding. In this particular night, y'all, I was so sleepy because I was probably up for like 48 hours. You know, when you're young, you do dumb stuff.
But you grind 24/7. Will, that's you. That's you now, bro.
Hey, bro, I was up. But hey, Isaiah, I was up no good then though. So I picked my pops up, right? And here's the thing y'all gotta understand. In high school, I never had a drink, even though people around me was drinking. I never smoked a day in my life. And
that's big.
I was tired, so I wasn't driving the same. And my dad said, "Boy, you all right?" I said, "Yeah, Dad, I'm cool. You know, I'm kind of doing it, He said, "Boy, you been drinking?" And I'm like, "Dad, nah, I don't drink." But bro, it bothered me.
Wow.
And let me tell you what it did, because I'm the kid at home that now at this time my brother's locked up, my other brother in and out of jail, my sister's gone, and I'm the kid at home that's successful. I'm the kid that colleges are knocking down my door to try to get an opportunity to talk and sign with me. I'm the kid that got good grades. I'm the first person in my family that ever graduated from high school. Forget going to college.
Come on, man, that's big.
I'm the
that's
first
big.
person that even graduated from graduated from high school. My sister was kicked out. Both of my brothers got kicked out. My mama got kicked out. My daddy never graduated. So he said, "What was wrong with you? Are you drinking?" And I got so offensive about it. Now, he didn't know this. But I took personal, and it made me say to myself, since he think that, maybe I should do it.
Dang, bro.
His words had so much power that I said to myself, well, since he thinking it, maybe I should just do it. And I'm saying that to say, we have to be careful when we're talking to our kids,
That's good.
our daughters, our sons, because you don't know certain things that you say, you don't know how it's going to impact them. Now, praise God and thank God I didn't do it, but that thought came to my mind. I said, well, since he feels this way, and because, bro, I'm thinking about me. I'm thinking about, man, I don't do nothing wrong. I'm out here doing the best I can. Hey, I'm that kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make it. And when he said that, it just did something to my spirit. So I think we got to be real careful. And that's why I really want to talk about the words and the impact the father has when he speaks. When you're talking to your daughters, even wives today have a low self-esteem, not because of you. It started with their daddy at home, if they had a daddy at home.
That's good.
Your sons and boys are going to prisons, and that their self-esteem is low, their image is gone, and they don't know who they are because they don't have a dad, and their dad spoke some words in their lives.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh my goodness.
Hold on. Can we get something right there?
Yeah, boy. You went in. Because here's the thing, and not only do we got to understand the power of speaking, but we got to understand the power of silence too.
Ooh, yeah.
Because just as
Ooh.
bad as you saying the wrong things is you never saying anything at all. You never saying they did a great job. You never giving them compliments. You are just silent on everything they do. Can I blow your mind even farther, fathers?
Come on.
Even when you hold back your criticism that could make them better. Because so many times fathers think, well, I'm not going to say nothing because they always think I'm criticizing. But but you shouldn't be doing it every time. But there are sometimes you need to say, hey, son, hey, daughter, have you ever thought about doing it this way? Have you ever thought about it? Because what that can do is that can build resentment in your children because they think you don't care.
Yeah.
When you don't say nothing and you ghost them or you're silent, that can destroy. And let me blow your mind. This is for fathers who have birthed children, and this is for men who have stepped into daddy positions. Same things, because some men make the mistake is they take the role of dad, but because of their upbringing, they put their same upbringing on who they're now being a father figure or a dad figure to.
Good, bro.
Let me ask you this question, fellas. Let me ask you this question. If it didn't make you feel good, why are you now doing the same thing to your biological children or even children who you've adopted or children you're now a father figure to?
Yeah.
If it didn't make you feel good, if you didn't like your dad not telling you not speaking a loving language to you, if you didn't like your dad not saying he loved you, why are you now giving your children the same thing that caused hurt and pain in your life?
That's good.
And so once again, we have to understand the father factor.
Yeah.
Whether you're biological or whether you stepped in, you still play a major role in that child or even that spouse's or that girlfriend or whoever's life that you're connected to.
Hold on. Yeah.
That's good, bro.
Hey, man, this is going to be a lot of applauses today, those that's watching, because this is a real heavy topic. This is something that, truly needs to be discussed, talked about, because fathers, like Will said it, we have like only certain days where we acknowledge it, like Father's Day or like Mother's Day. Of course, we're not talking about mothers now, but these are just days that we acknowledge. And you know what I'm saying? It's just like a day and a card. Thank you for being there. And then that's it. You know what I'm saying? But I think that like what we actually are stressing here, it's a lot bigger than just one day. This is something that is, a daily process, consistent being in a child's life. You know what I'm saying? And really, giving to them the things that you needed and that you didn't receive. And then also the things that that is good to give for them to receive. Pastor Roman D, I can't glaze over it. You said something that was so big, and this has been a huge part of my life. Crazy, you know what I'm saying, growing up with my dad. See, my dad was there, and there were so many moments where, my dad had did some things that was highlights, right? I remember one day he came to the house unexpected, you know what I'm saying? Of course, my dad was in my life every day, but there was just certain moments where it was like, oh my God, this is dad. And it brought that feeling, right? So he came home one day, had this huge box. And, he's walking up the stairs. I see him as a child. I see him. I'm not tripping what he got. And he takes the box to his room. He opens it up. It's on the bed, and it's a PlayStation 1. And so I open it. I'm like, wow, they got 5 games in there. I'm like, yo, this is incredible. I'm seeing all of these games in this box. And you know what I'm saying? And so like we got, to hook the system up, started sitting down playing the system. Now listen to this, fellas. And I really am grateful I had that experience, because I'm beginning to see not everything you do for your child they remember every moment. I could sit down because I sat down and played the game with my dad, but that wasn't the highlight of that moment. The highlight was him coming home with something and him giving me something. And I think that even though it was, as a child, it was material, it's how my dad presented himself, because there might be times where, you spend 7 days a week with your child, and it'll be a moment that they look back on like, man, that was dad, and so I want to encourage fathers and let you know, don't feel discouraged like, man, I didn't get a chance to spend all day with my son or all day with my daughter. It just showing up and being there and just being present is important. You know what I'm saying? It might not be everything, you know, and that's the thing. Like, as fathers, I think, like, we want to give everything, you know what I'm saying? Because we're dads, you know. Will even attest to this. He was saying how, you know what I'm saying, that there were certain things that, you know, as his dad, like, he spoke and said something, and it affected him in such a way. And so there's moments like where dad does something and it affects you, whether it's negatively or positively. And you know, words are not just what we speak, it's also our actions. You know, like, you can see somebody's body language and see them speaking. And I think that that's so big, you know. So I really wanted to stress that, because that was a highlight in my life. And so now with my children, one of the biggest things I do is, you know what I'm saying, I always reassure them how proud I am of them. And Pastor Roman D, you said something big that I think has to be constantly talked about. Criticism for your children is just as healthy as encouragement. Because you gotta criticize those points, and that is a struggle for me when it deals with my daughter. And I think because, you know, it's something you have to do without being taught. And when you do that, you know what I'm saying, you are literally in ocean deep waters. You got no anchor. All you got is faith. And I think that that's the big thing, you know. And so, and I had to tell my daughter this. I'm gonna pass the rock to you, Will. I said, I had to sit her down one day, and we had this huge conversation about, you know, just me loving who she was becoming to be and all of these things. And I said, sweetie, I said, you know, the biggest thing that stopped me from talking to you? And she was like, what? These moments like this? She said, what? I said, fear. Like, not knowing the outcome of me letting you know certain things that I approve of and certain things that I don't approve of, but more so the things I don't approve of. And I think that that is so important. So I wanted to kind of, you know, pull from that, Pastor Roman D, what you said, because that's so big. Criticism is just, now, you don't bash your children, but you gotta, to the fathers that are so encouraging and forgetting that, that's important. Make sure that that's something that you're aware of as well, because that is something your child needs for their development and growth. You know what I'm saying? In Jesus' name.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good, Zaya Beats. That's good. Yeah. So question for y'all. I'm glad you kind of segment is right into, you kind of led us right into the Zaya Beats, because you was talking about you and your daughter and things like that. So Pastor Roman D could kick it off, and then you can tune into it. Zaya Beats question: as a father, and just parents in general, but I know we specifically talking about fathers, should you be your kid's friend?
No.
Should you be your kid's friend?
No. Well, let me say this. There are very few parents that can make that transition and make it work. Most times, this is just from my perspective, most times it don't work. Okay. Yeah. Because here's the thing, and I think in the last one we talked about, can your spouse be your best friend? We talked about your spouse being on another level. And I think what parents do is they demote themselves when they try to be their child's friend. Yeah. Their child can go out and find hundreds of friends. That's true. They can always find a friend. They can't go just find a daddy. They can't just go find a mama. Those things are so rare. Come on. That we as parents, we can't give those relationships away. We can't give that influence away. We can't just throw it off to the side just because we want to be in what we consider a good space with our kids. Part of being a parent is at times being in those rough spots, because what we don't understand is we teach our children how to overcome. We teach our children how to deal with rough situations in their relationships. I think one of the things that's hindering our young people so much is they don't know how to go through nothing. And so they're so willing to cut good people off. How you willing to cut good people off who've been riding with you through the first 10 storms, but because they made a mistake in the storm 11, you cut them off and you miss a ride or die person. And I think that's because parents are so busy trying to be friends, trying to be buddies. They don't need another buddy. Yeah. They can go to their school and find buddies, but they can't go to their school and find a mama and a daddy.
Come on, man.
That's good, bro.
Hey,
that's good.
Listen, We're gonna break for commercial. This because when we come back, I really want to dive, into that question, Will, because that deserves, some time spent on that question, because that is so important. So yeah, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, y'all. We'll be back right after this. Eternal fashion right here, baby. Yeah. Eternal fashion in just Jesus. Just Jesus. Dripped in high fashion, Christ wear, no fear. Resurrected clothes wear, the lost run to Christ, yeah. His body, it wasn't resting in the tomb. Only what he was wrapped in was laying in the room. Jesus on mine, from the temple to the sandals. We rock the latest fashion, the devil can't handle us. Christ Jesus got us covered like this Jesus wear. Oh yeah, I feel his glory in here. God's here. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Just Jesus on mine. Hallelujah, hallelujah. He's always on time. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Faith and no fear. Hallelujah, hallelujah. In my just Jesus wear. Just Jesus.
So in everything, what you have on you, as a tither, as a giver of offerings, as a child of the King, on you is the mandate to be fruitful, to always to produce, to multiply, always increase, to replenish, fill, use, refill again, to subdue and have dominion, to control your environment. On the inside of you and on you is the ability to always produce, always increase, fill, use, refill again, and to control your environment. If you're not always producing, if you're not always increasing, if you're not filling, using, refilling again, if you're not controlling your environment, it is because you don't understand the power that is on you. When you got Jesus on the inside of you, it gave you access to this blessing. And when you begin to get tithe and offering, you literally have the weapon in your hand. Now it's time for you to understand how to swing that weapon, how to use that weapon, how to produce by the words of your mouth, by the fruit of your mouth, to produce, to speak abundance, to speak increase, to speak God's word in your life. And so this is what's on us.
What are you waiting for? Come to WillParkerJr.com. Grab your t-shirt, grab your hoodie. You can even grab some music. Come on.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? So we back and listen, Will, before we went into break, you asked a question, you know what I mean, concerning, you know what I'm saying, should you or fathers be their children's best friend? And Will, that was a really, really deep question, man. So I wanted to kind of dive into that and answer, from my perspective. And I think that I was thinking as Roman was talking, man, you know what? I honestly believe that it's difficult, you know what I'm saying, for a father to be his child's friend, you know what I mean? And I think of the other day, we were out in Atlanta, and I was in the room with my daughter, and she was on the phone with her friend, and I could tell how children have conversations different from their parents, and how children, they seem to agree along the lines of their understanding with their friends, right? And how that children have a different, outlook on their parents or their father. They looking at them in a different light. So they kind of have a little bit more, I guess you could say, being careful coming to their father in such a way, you know what I'm saying, because they know that they can't get away with everything. So I think that's kind of pretty much, that type of, spirit that, that children have when it comes to their parents. And so to answer the question a little deeper, I would say No, and that's the reason why, because you know what I'm saying, it's like for a father, you know what I'm saying, has to counsel his child, you know, from a different place. And Roman, you spoke on this, which is so incredible, that it's a different type of level. So for a father to kind of be a friend will kind of diminish, you know what I'm saying, his nature of a father, as a protector, as a, you know, one who influences, one who leads, one who guides, one who corrects, one who disciplines. You know, all of those things are good. Now, when we deal with communication, I think that it should be a friendly, you know, association with our children and stuff like that. But dealing with a friend, you know, there's certain things that I think my daughter and my sons will feel uncomfortable sharing with me than they would with their friends. So I would say, you know, on that level, I would say like, nah, you know what I mean? But I think that, you know, as when I'm gonna pass this to Will, but Roman, you did say something that I want to bring up again. In some situations, it can work. You know what I'm saying? For some parents, you know, it has to be that, you know what I'm saying? But I would say every situation is a little bit more kind of like, you know, different, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, in my situations with my children, you know, I wouldn't want to be their friend, you know, more so than I would want to be their daddy, because, you know, I have to lead them in a way that part can't be in our relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be so friend with my children. Well, I overlook the part like, okay, now it's time to correct. Now it's time to, you know, discipline and lead. So I would say like, nah, I couldn't do that personally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Personally. Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff, bro. That's good stuff. Give me some. Give me some.
Yeah. And hey, so I was gonna say, Will, what do you think though, bro? Do you think that is something that, you know, parents should be friends, you know, or father be friends with his child?
I would say, kind of on the same. I'm on the same line as you brothers are. I would say it could work, but it's not required. Me personally, not happening. I ain't dummying down.
Hey, come on, bro.
I'm daddy, man. Not happening. Because man, listen. I'm daddy, y'all. I'm daddy. See, here's the thing about friendship, and especially when kids are younger, high school. I always tell my kids all the time, most of these so-called friends are not friends, they're classmates. They're people you go to church with. They don't, a lot of kids don't even know what friendship really is about. You know what I'm saying? So you trying to dummy me down to something you really completely don't understand yet is not going to happen. Because the truth of the matter is, I'm going to tell you what your friend ain't going to tell you because I love you. Your friend ain't always going to tell you what he should tell you or she should tell you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk behind your back after you tell me something about yourself. That's like good. Your friends might do. Ooh, girl, do you know such and such said she did such and such with such and such? You know what I'm saying? Man, that's just the nature of growing up.
Yeah, bro.
We're doing things out of love. We want to see them grow. We want to see them succeed. We want to see them be successful.
That's good.
So as parents, as being a father and being a parent, I can't dummy myself down to that level.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because again, they don't even understand what friendship is all about. You know, so no, can it work? In some cases, I'm pretty sure it does. It works, but it's not a requirement, man. It's not a requirement. I think you need to concentrate and focus on being your kids' parents.
Come on, bro.
You know, be the daddy, be the mama, be their parent, man. In my household, I got one rule: talk to somebody. I don't care if they don't talk to me, long they talking to my wife. I don't care if they ain't talking to my wife, long they talking to me. They need to talk to somebody in our house.
That's good, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Some things you need a daddy, you need the daddy's touch. Some things you need the mother's touch. One of the things I loved about my son, he used to always come home and talk to me about different things. He'd be like, Dad, such and such, she ain't doing well. She's pregnant, but she don't want to tell her parents. And he'll come and ask my advice. He wouldn't give her his advice because he said, I don't know nothing about none of that, Dad. He was wise enough to understand. I'm going to go to my daddy and see what my daddy says. And then I'll go back and relay the message because I'm the buffer. She's trusting me to get her information And my son, he was so smart. He said, but I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that. I mean, one girl one time was raped. One girl wanted to commit suicide. And he came home and talked to me about it. And you know, so and I was able to give him some sound advice to give them. And I said, hey, but hey, when they get serious and suicide, we gotta get other people involved. And at this point, it's not even about your being close or being friends. Now we're talking about your life is being affected. Their lives is in danger.
Yeah.
So now we got to escalate and take it up another level.
Come on.
You know, so I really appreciated that, but he understood, and I wish more kids will understand. You're not qualified to give advice to your friend on all kind of levels. Yeah. Because you're not on that level.
That's good.
Oh my goodness.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hey, you brought out some stuff there, bro. And so I'm gonna throw this question out to you fellas. So here's my question. So what type of impact does the father have? What type of impact? Because I think that's so important that men understand this impact. So in our last few minutes, I'm gonna throw that out to you guys. What's the impact? What's the impact of a father, whether he's there or not? What practical impact? What happens to the child if the father is not present as he should be present as he should?
Wow. Yeah, that's a real good question. I want to speak to the one where, you know, you said the father, or answer that one, the father that's not at home. I think like the father that's not at home, I know the father that's not at home, that, you know, how it impacts the child in such a way, man, where it's completely negative. You know what I'm saying? Because this the thing, kids are going to go through phases and changes, whether the father is there or not. But I think when the father's not there, Will, you brought something out that was big. They don't have nobody to go to for counsel, you know, from a father perspective, because there's certain things a father can give, certain things a mother can give. I always hear my wife say this, you know, you got to talk to your dad about that because I don't know. Or, you know what I'm saying? You know, the dad needs to be there to kind of help be the disciplinarian. And, you know, and discipline is not whoopings, it's correcting. You know what I'm saying, in the right way. And so I think that, you know, the father that's not there, man, what it does is it completely can keep the child from growing into, you know, the person that they're, you know, supposed to become, you know, knowing how to be able to fight battles, you know. And I give a personal example from my life before I passed the will. My son, you know, struggles with the same struggle that I struggle with, pornography. And he came to me one day, he said, Dad, what can I do about this, man? He had his notepad out. He was taking notes and everything. But that's certain things a father can give that a mother can speak to, but don't know how to be able to guide it because of that experience that fathers go through as males that deal with that issue. So I think, like, yes, it can affect your child. It can completely affect them detrimental. I mean, it can completely, you know what I'm saying, keep them from, it can help them to be the best they can be, learning how to deal with struggles, or it can push them further into a dark state to where they don't know how to be able to deal with it. And they find other resources, well, not resources, other ways to deal with it, ultimately leading them to destruction. In Jesus' name.
Yeah. That's good. That's good, Zaya Beats. That's good, Zaya Beats.
Yeah.
Great question, Pastor Roman D. And that kind of plays off the question Zaya asked earlier. And I would say this: the impact that a father has at home, I can speak to that because I had a father at home. Is you learn how to be a man. You see a man, that your father is the reflection of someone you should be. Or check this out, or even be even better. When you don't have that reflection and you can't see that, it's hard to be a man because you don't know. Now, and I'm talking about guys that you know, fathers that are guys that are at home with their fathers. So when you have that, you see how to be a man. You see how to treat a woman via their mom, via their sisters. You understand that a lot of women keep their emotions on their shoulders. So you learn how to talk to them. You learn how to love. You learn how to discipline, because like you said, Zaya Beats, it's bigger than whoopings. Okay. Though sometimes the whooping has to come, but did they learn from it is the question. Right. You know what I'm saying? You learn how to be a disciplinarian. You learn how to love. You learn how to work. You see your dad providing. You see them providing shelter. You see them being a protector.
That's good.
So I would say the impact of guys that don't have the father, you don't have none of that I just said.
True.
You know, unless you have another male influence or role model in your life, you don't know how to be a husband.
Yeah.
You don't know how to be a man of the house.
Come on.
You don't know that working is important and protection is important. You're literally trying to figure it out when you get a family. You know what I'm saying? That's why they say, and I think you said this earlier, Isaiah, they say there's no handbook on being a father.
Yeah.
Well, that's because most people was trying to figure out how to be one because they didn't have one.
That's
That's why that 1,500 likes that Pastor Roman D, those particular posts, those were people that didn't grow up with fathers. And they're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily have to figure out how to be a father. I had to figure out how to make it work for me.
That's good.
But I knew how to be a father because I had a father. He taught me how to be a father.
That's good.
Yeah.
I just had to make it work for me and my kids. You know, so that's good, Roman D. But I think that impact of being there and not being there is big. Come on, Roman D, talk to me.
Come on.
Because you know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing blueprint.
Well, there you go.
Blueprint. Because here's the thing. Anytime someone is building something, they never build a building without a blueprint. That's true. A blueprint lets you know where everything goes. It's a vision for how the building is supposed to be structured and put. And so many of us, because I'm passionate about it, because I grew up without a father. I grew up without my biological father. I went through the emotions where it's like, man, why ain't he here? And you just don't understand why is it that he don't care about me? How I was introduced to my biological father was one day I was out on like the porch area with my grandma, and a guy walked up and gave me $1, and my grandma said, "That's your dad."
Wow.
Dang, boy.
And it wasn't like we built a relationship from there. It was topsy-turvy. And so I went through the emotions, being hurt. I went through anger. I don't need the Negro anyway. Then I went back to being just, hey, it is what it is, acting like this. But the thing that I missed out is that blueprint. I didn't have that model. I didn't have that structure to follow after. And so even when I got my own family and my own kids, I was scared. I was scared because it's like now I'm experimenting. Now I may have seen this on TV. I may have seen one of my uncles do this, but I didn't live around it. So it wasn't, whereas for Will, it was second nature. Isaiah, it was second nature because they had the blueprint. But for me, I'm guessing. And so the confidence wasn't there. I made mistakes and still making mistakes. But what it did was it softened me. Said I want to be the very best father that I could be. Because here's the thing. When we grow up, when people grow up without fathers, they go one or two ways. They either go down that path that hurt them, and so they do what was done to them, or they say, hey, I'm not going to do this to my children. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to try to be the very best that I could be. But it does bring those different things where you feel hurt. I struggled with low self-esteem into my adult years because I felt like, hey, if my biological father couldn't love me, why would anybody else? And so that carried with me until my adult years. And so it can have that type of impact on your life. And so fathers, we want you to know you are important.
Yeah.
You are vital. So even if you got to fight to be in your kid's life, fight whatever it takes. Be willing to take the rejection. Be willing to have the tough conversations if you wasn't there. Be willing to go through whatever it takes to be in your children's life because you are important. You are valuable.
Yeah.
You are an important piece. Just like the mother is important, you are important also.
Yeah.
It's good, bro.
That's real good. Listen, y'all. In these last, our closing moments, you know what I'm saying, final moments we have. I wanted to, see if we could, each, take, a minute or two to speak to the fathers, you know what I'm saying, out there that, could be possibly in a situation where, they're fighting to get their family back, or, fighting to, be the best that they can be. And like we all shared, we might not have a blueprint. and everything like that. But before, like in my 1 minute, I wanted to share, like Pastor Roman D, you said something that was so, it just was like an instrument to my soul, man. And you said how that you didn't have that blueprint, and the only person I thought of was Noah. And like how God gave him he didn't give him, he just gave him the wood and the instructions and said, build. And, you know, and I want to speak to that right there. Like a father right now might be like, yo, I'm new at this. I got a brand new son. He's on the way. I wasn't with my father. I want to tell you, build. You start the legacy. You know what I'm saying? You start the legacy. God gave you an opportunity to start something fresh and new. He didn't want none of the old. He wanted something fresh and new. So I want to tell you, build, because what God is going to do with you in this next generation with your family, it's going to be mind blowing. Yeah.
It's good, bro.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Build. That's good, bro. I would like to say to the brothers, to the fathers, man, keep going. Keep going. Push past child support. I know it's on your back. Push past baby mama drama. I know she probably keeping your kids from you. Wow. Push past not having that right job right now. Push past your mind playing tricks on you, because suicide is setting in, because between the ages of 35 and 55, when men ain't where they supposed to be, they start thinking about ending it all. Wow. Push past it. Keep going. Connect with some other brothers that got your back, that's not scared to tell you what you're doing wrong, that's not scared to encourage you. Seek God. God will restore you.
That's good.
He said he will be the father to the fatherless. But you got to keep going. You have to push past the pain, the frustration, and all the compromising issues that come with being a dad.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Boy, you brothers done gave some knowledge. I just want to say this. It's not about what you can give them. It's not about the presence. The greatest present you can give is your presence. Yeah. You are so valuable, Father. You are so significant, Father. You are so important that you being there means all the world. You being there brings encouragement. You being there raises their confidence. You being there and being there for them, letting them know that I always got your back. I'm always going to be here. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I don't care what mistakes you make. I don't care how high you get or how low you get. I don't care if you go through divorce. I don't care if they break up with you. I don't care if they cast you to the side. When everyone forsakes you, I will be here for you. When I agree with what you did, I'll be here for you. When I don't agree with what you did, I will be here for it. That's how much I love you as a father. And so, men, I understand it is difficult, it is tough, and sometimes you need somebody to pray with you. You need somebody to connect with you. And we are here to connect with you as brothers. If you text your name and information to 816-670-3684. That's 816-670-3684. We'll call you, even if all three of us get, we'll call, we'll pray with you, connect with you, because that's how important you are to us. That's how important you are to God. God will never leave you nor forsake you. Remember how important and significant you are.
Praise God, man. There it is, y'all.
There it is, y'all.
Man.
It goes another one.
It's another one, y'all, man.
Look at that. I like that, boy. Beep, 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 beep.
Man, praise God, man.
We'll see y'all next week with another episode of
Off the Cuff.
Off the cuff. Everything we say brought to you live. Roman, Will, and Zay off the cuff. Walking by faith brought to you live. Roman, Will, and Zay off the cuff. Everything we say brought to you live. Roman, Will, and Zay off the cuff.
And the truth of the matter is,
walking by faith brought to you live. Roman, Will, and Zay off the cuff.